What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast.
If only we could heal ourselves, we wouldn't need to be hooked up to these machines.
We are here at episode 201. This started off as just a goofy tweet. I don't know if you had planned on doing the episode, but the music video for Accidents by Canadian wonders Alexisonfire. I've got so much to talk about with like the band in general. I think we both read the lyrics for the first time today, like 5 minutes ago.
I didn't know what they were.
Yeah, no, at all.
Well, the tweet was this. I just watched the music video for Accidents by Alexisonfire, and it's them responding to Accidents as an EMT crew, and I don't know what I expected with a gif of Jason Bateman from Arrested Development.
That's perfect.
And that's pretty much the joke, so you can tune out now. That's most of what we've got. But we watched the music video, which is widescreen, like super widescreen.
Oh, yeah.
With credits at the beginning. Very interesting. And it's just like a nice, well, we'll save it. But yeah, learn some lyrics. I learned that Dallas Green's name, Tom told me today.
Oh, yeah.
The City in the Color, Dallas Green.
Yeah. City,
Whoa.
Dallas Green.
I'm definitely more of a City in the Color. If I'm definitely here for the Alexis, and Tom's definitely here for the On Fire. For sure. We have not gone into this realm a ton.
Yeah.
Tom, jokingly, you want to give him a little potato salad just to get in the right mood. Potato salad!
Potato salad!
Right. Which is like some hardcore dude in our scene, that was his warm-up, weirdly, was just like 4th of July picnic foods.
He had a Bob Barker microphone and I think he was trying out as the singer of our band. And he bought this Bob Barker mic with like 100-foot cable. And we were like, okay, here's the lyrics. And he's like, how about I don't sing your lyrics and I just make up my own? And then he just screamed potato salad the whole time.
Very Jack Black move. He's like, I came prepared. With his own Bob Barker mic, I guess, must have been.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I think we'll probably try to do Chiodos in January or February or something, or head down this road a little harder, a little rocky, a little hardcore. Talk to me about the genre real quick.
Well, okay.
I know genre does not exist, but
back at this time, I heard this called Screamo.
Screamo, yes. Okay, so we're on the same page. I didn't want to be too much of just
derogatory.
I don't even know. I'm just a 30-year-old guy. I'm just a guy. And I was like, yeah, Screamo music is what I avoided. So yeah, okay. I'm glad we grew up in the same high school. I'm remembering that we've done a show for years and we're friends. And of course we both know it as Screamo. Okay.
So I've told the story about Alexisonfire. First of all, did you think it was Alex is on fire?
No, I read it Alexisonfire from the jump, and people would challenge that and be like, wait, I thought it was Alexisonfire. Like one of those like scene conversations that no one cared about and they were just waiting for the band to start playing, basically. But yeah, I guess upon further review, it's legitimately Alexisonfire. So all of you haters can, no, they're not even haters. I don't know, like read it. That's the least consequential thing. Like if it gets you through the day to think it's Alexisonfire, you can take it up with Dallas Green as far as I'm concerned.
So, my first experience with this band, there was a kid, Jay, who always wore their shirt. And I remember thinking it was a really cool looking shirt. And I was in marching band with him and this guy, Alex, and he brought in this massive boombox. And I remember there was a piece of duct tape across the whole front and it just said Billy. And the boombox's name was Billy. I don't know why.
Probably making fun of Billy O'Brien.
I don't know.
Probably.
Okay. So... And he would just play...
A joke everyone listening to this will get. You all know Billy.
Someone that went to our high school.
He won us a district title in soccer with like, it doesn't matter. But like explaining something he did that was athletic does not help you understand Billy that much. So I'll stop there.
So I was on the school bus. We had like 3 different buses for marching band. And I played snare. Jay played trumpet, and Alex played tenor sax, if I remember.
Little light to be shed on the marching band football team rivalry during our era was huge because our single A school with like one of the lowest 2% like square mileage of a district in the state of Pennsylvania. So we were like the smallest single A school, quad A being the highest, but we would perform at like a triple and quad A level with Kiski out of the Pittsburgh area and stuff like that. I believe that was the name of the high school, but like the music teacher would like aggressively call football players out during music class and have them hold bass drums for like 40 minutes. I'm like, that's what it takes. Like, you think football's so tough? Getting your concussions, idiots. No, he never made fun of concussion stuff. But so there was like, it was a legitimate fun. Stories from the band bus were wild.
Yeah.
Like you're all children. But yeah, it was a large amount of people. And that was kind of your intro to public school in the fall. So like you were still getting your feet wet, but you were meeting a lot of people through that and learning some music too, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to be around them because they seemed like the cool kids that were into good music.
They were the best. They were just the best. They were really cool. Later in life, I had an internship at Pittsburgh where Alex was just newly a Pittsburgh resident, and he's just a guy that at any point in time anybody could meet back up with and have a very lovely evening. Yeah, he's just a very good person.
I like idolized him. I thought he was so funny and so cool, and he would bring in his boombox and just play 44 caliber Love Letter on repeat. I mean, a 45-minute drive to the different school. And I remember just being like, this is awful. I hate it. It doesn't make sense. It's so garbage. But after like months of just hearing it over and over, I started to notice little things like the thing that stuck out, obviously, there's a 44 caliber Love Letter straight from my heart. And was like, oh, I've never heard someone like do that in a song before. And slowly it started chipping away this like, I don't know, this like ice cold thing around me that was like, no screaming in music. And then all of a sudden I loved Alexisonfire and I started digging into anything in their catalog I could find on LimeWire. And this is definitely one that I had, but it like took me a long time to really come around to liking Alexisonfire. And then it was totally my gateway for like this whole genre of like, you know, Under Oath and Inhale Exhale I loved at the time. Devil Wears Prada and bands like that. I like really got into the genre after this band.
Yeah, we joke on the show where, you know, obviously you went a little different path, slightly after we shared an iTunes library for like a couple calendar years, but I think it speaks to Dallas Green's vocal abilities that, you know, Chiodos had some of the singy. You know, if there was a singing element, like Whitechapel made no effort. It was like, we're going to do horror movie noise sound effects. Yeah. Like just, like, Jesus Christ. Just like blood curdling craziness. I think I just broke Tom's computer. I haven't tested the vocal cords like that in a while, but not even making really an effort. They didn't have to. It's not about me, but from where I'm sitting, I'm like, I'll not spend my day like that. But for, you know, and again, I don't go too deep on Alexisonfire, but I'm glad we can talk about this and sit down and just be like, yo, they brought the thunder for real. And Accidents, to me, and I'll just ask this now, it is far and away my favorite Alexisonfire song. Again, this is coming from a total, I'll ask someone who would know more. And I don't think you're going to agree with me because so I would assume their top three, based on being loosely in the scene and being around the stuff, that the top three would be what I think is your favorite, which is what?
No Transitory,
Accidents, and 44 Caliber Love Letter. Those were the three that I most often ran into with people hanging out. Alex Burtis playing it on stereos and stuff. Yeah. And 44 Caliber Love Letter was my introduction. But then Accidents is one of those things where you just kind of live with it, and the woes get into your like body and soul and makes you want to run through a freaking titanium side of a ship. Like I could sink a ship with my body or something. It is just an explosion of so many good things, and that is a bunch of ingredients making sense to me. And I was like, okay, for me, this is where Alexisonfire is just at this best. And you could probably come back. A lot of people listening could be like, well, then you should try this album of theirs, or you should try these. But I'm curious what you think, an actual legit fan, like when are they at their best for you?
So first of all, being LimeWire, I had two files on my computer, No Transitory and No Transistory. I don't know what the actual song is.
Somebody could walk into the house right now and be like, it's Transistory. Or actually the song's called Transistor Radio. I'd be like, cool, I had no idea. I haven't bothered until today to really look that up at all. And I did, because we're doing the Accidents episode. We're not even doing that episode. Right. Yeah.
So
you could convince me.
I think of, my girlfriend in high school, Hannah, she was not into this genre, but she knew the song This Could Be Anywhere in the World, which is The City is Haunted with Ghosts from Broken Homes. And I remember that seemed like the song that kind of transcended the genre. And I think a lot of that is due to Dallas Green's vocals. Like if people didn't like screaming, they at least loved his voice. So they kind of got a pass from a lot of people.
Well, I learned like pretty late into the game that there was the screaming individual.
Oh, there's
and
two different
Dallas
singers.
Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was just a screamer who didn't want to keep screaming like that, and that's why he did the City and Color stuff. But he's just been a very good singer this whole time, which opened my eyes to the kind of the dynamics of the band itself.
Yeah, they had like the front man that did the, what do they call it? The harshes.
Well, you know more about screaming. Can you spend a couple minutes just being like, because you've tried to do the thing where you can scream but not hurt your throat. Like you and Zach talk about it.
I can never
all the time when we hang out. But there's like a way to do it.
Yeah. There's like false chord. There's like vocal fry. There's gutturals. There's like
is vocal fry just this American Life dudes complaining about stuff to each other at like a dinner party?
I mean, it's a similar technique, but you just get So I don't know. I've bought courses on how to do screaming, like sing screaming.
Ira Glass was in Whitechapel this whole time. Today we're going to study the dynamics of why my parents suck.
It's so funny hearing it all distorted through but no, there is a proper way of screaming so that you don't blow your throat out.
If we could heal ourselves, would we even need to be hooked up to these machines? I sat down with these people. I want Ira Glass to be in a metal. Okay, I'll stop that. But Screamo Ira Glass is my new favorite thing.
I forget what we were talking.
Sorry, you were going over types of screaming, which became such a part of the scene that every band in Erie had a breakdown. Every band in Erie had a screaming section, of each song, not like a group of people screaming, but in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of turned into a thing where like screaming was making its way into like pop punk music, and I mean, you do hear quite a bit of it these days, even still. It's a nice little. I mean, my mom always called it devil music and stuff, and to me, it's like, man, when you're really happy, when you're really frustrated, when you're really sad, when you're really angry, like when you have an intense emotion of any kind, positive or negative, the reaction is to scream. When you, I don't know, win the championship, everyone screams. It's just like, it's such a raw, intense emotion that I always connected to it because like I was an angsty little kid. And
can confirm.
Just hearing someone blah, I was like, fuck yeah. I feel that. But I do think it's interesting that you said the screamer from Alexisonfire is the most like palatable scream. To me, it sounds like something that's like unrefined, and actually you have to be more into the genre to like be accepting of it.
Interesting. Maybe it's because I thought it was Dallas Green this whole time. I was just like willing to accept him. But like there was something not like they weren't trying to blow out the speakers or blow in my eardrums out. He just was screaming as a part of the song overall. That's how I heard it anyway. But sometimes dudes are just like nothing. I mean, like we talked about this in a recent Patreon AMA where it's just like, what's your favorite genre outside of this? And like, I can't really say rap because I'm really just like a surface, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Channel Orange, acid rap fan. So that is to say, not very deep into it. So I can't really sit here and talk about screaming or that genre or anything else, but maybe it was more melodic or more like for me, someone who's not actually into it to enjoy it or something. But you're saying it is not that, because I assumed it was the more palatable of the screams.
Well,
like,
I mean, it is melodic hardcore, but it's like
plus they were a popular band. Like they're way more popular than some of the screamo bands. So I just assumed everyone was like, oh, this is easier on my body to experience.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I always felt his scream to be not in a bad way because I like it, but like more like grating than some other like melodic hardcore type screams. I don't know, but it's interesting to hear your perspective on that.
I also don't know. It's kind of like, I don't know, like, do you dig deep enough to understand what you're talking about? Like, because you have gone so deep on screaming itself where I have not understood I wanted to hear you talk about it for a bit, even though I don't understand what the hell you're talking about. Anyway, so you're saying, just back to the band, back to the episode, Alexisonfire, this guy was a little harsher than most, you're saying?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you're seeing it. It was so high pitched, I think, that it seemed more like it felt more dramatic than something that's more of a mid-range scream. Like it felt like he was like screaming for help. Like it was like that kind of tonality. So I was surprised to hear you just say that it's like, oh, this is like kind of calming, because it's like very high pitched. Like
there's something about the song Accidents that he could be screaming for. I mean, The music video is literally just people that are in need of help. So maybe it's just like, this is the scream that fits whatever this is. You know what I mean? So like, maybe you're right, but also for me, it's just like, this is kind of what I came in expecting.
It's all, in the context.
A screamo song called Accidents. Like I was expecting literal glass on, like nails on a chalkboard, like horror. Because I view this subgenre as like trying to get people not like trying to turn people away. It's kind of like if you go too far down the rabbit hole of like indie movies or music or indie bands or some of that folk stuff where it's like our 22-minute live version of this. It's just like, how deep into this rabbit hole can we go to make you, at what point are you suffering through this? And people are either hardcore or just stupid about it, which that's just me going on a tangent. But I thought the point of Screamo was to be like, yeah, I hang with her because I'm hardcore and I listen, even though I know this is fucking awful and hard to listen to. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Sorry, tangent there. Tom's taking a picture of me right now. He's going to edit this out of the show, I bet.
Well, let's see the music video because there's a couple things in it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry, but we start with credits, which we rarely get at all in music videos. If you do, it's at the end where YouTube is cutting off everything with all the cards. And we get like basically 17 seconds of silence. And then the music video starts. And I mean, we could sum it up in 20 seconds, but there's some interesting enough things to get an episode out of it. The band are EMT first responders responding to accidents, right? With like some actually very cinematograph. What's that word? Cinematographic. Great cinematography shots of like B-roll of like nice color graded scenery of like the ambulance driving by. Also wondering like,
yeah, it is a beautiful music video.
It's well done. I mean, there's definitely widescreen. And I'm sitting here with a 49-inch widescreen.
Aren't you a little
monitor.
Big for that stroller? Aren't you a little big for the sidewalk? We're talking wide, people.
And for 2004, you were mostly seeing 4:3 aspect ratios. So to see something this wide, I don't know, they were working with better technology.
Yeah, back then, NFL defenses and videos were mostly working with the 3:4 situation.
Oh yeah, I thought football as well.
The Blitz packages got creative a little.
They are Canadian. Maybe there's something. Maybe they adopted widescreen before Americans did. They know what's up. They've got good technology up there, right?
I've heard that about Canadians. Is
the tech center
how
of America.
Adventurous they are in their cinema. The Red Green Show, a lot of groundbreaking from a cinematography standpoint.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're enjoying the episode. It gets even goofier from here, but I want to quickly break in and thank our Patreon supporters, specifically our Council of Elders, our emo elders, Andre Prevost, Jason Carey, and Johnny Leftwich. Thank you so much for supporting the show, and thank you to everyone else in our Patreon for contributing as well. We really appreciate you all so much. We appreciate absolutely everyone who listens to this show. If you'd like to support the show, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent. But either way, we are just very happy that you are here. All right, let's get back to the episode.
Watch Out. Let's just talk about Watch Out real quick. Underrated album name, Watch Out.
Watch Out.
Like,
exclamation
okay.
point, right?
Yeah. Okay, accidents. Watch out. I'm screaming just thinking about it. Nice cartoon girl, kind of horror movie, kind of the Scream, the guy in the bridge, kind of, the art is, big fan. Kind of pulp fiction-y. Not from the Tarantino movie, but like the genre of fiction being pulp. You talk about it being an album that is 42 minutes and 24 seconds long, to which you said...
for some reason, I thought the Rush album was 21 minutes and 12 seconds long, and I thought, man, Rush can suck a dick because this album is twice as good and twice as long.
Twice the palindrome. Suck it, Rush.
But
from one Canadian band to another. Eat my shorts.
It turns out the album wasn't 21 minutes and 12 seconds long. It was released on December 21st, and they swap the whatever.
God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Blame Canada. I think we've almost referenced every song in the South Park movie soundtrack today. This is the first time mid-pod we've done it. Doesn't matter. Let's go to the video.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
17 seconds of silence. And then we
Dibs on the album name.
What?
17 seconds of silence.
Oh. And then we get a siren. and we see flashing lights.
And then a guy has a straight up heart attack.
Straight
up. Falls down. Heart attack, man. Is that where the band got that name? One has to wonder.
One must.
I want to say equip sunglasses, but that's Hot Mulligan. So let's just keep it rolling here. Then there's a girl in line for like a rock show. She's in the Skids or whatever. She goes down hard. Kind of without, like the first guy, it's like, oh, nice job acting out a heart attack, random extra. And not random extra, like main guy who's injured. But then this girl just like, do you remember the Boy Meets World Halloween episode where Sean or one of them gets hit in the head with a pencil and then he falls down the wall and it draws, and the joke is Corey Matthew goes, "We'll always remember that he was this tall." I thought that was the funniest shit ever. That thing also terrified me. Doesn't matter. More on that later. No, not more on that later. We're not going to talk about Boy Meets World for the rest of this episode. But my point here being, she just kind of slides down. We don't get to see what her ailment is, but she goes down. And then there's a biker on the ground as well. And those are the three accidents.
Oh, the biker's at the end, right?
We don't know more on what the biker's accident may have been later.
We'll get to that later.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, the band is just basically responding to these, right? They're rushing around. There's a break in the song where in the music video, they add a siren. And if you've listened to the show, you know that I do not like sound effects or dialogue in my music videos. At that specific moment, Pat, you mentioned, I think it actually adds a lot. I have to agree with you.
I'm pretty amped in general when Accidents comes on, but then I'm like, whoop, whoop. You know what I mean? Like Bad Boys 2, the soundtrack, kind of like you perk up. You're like, I'm in the mood to get rude. Yeah, dude, let's get crude.
The thing that...
What's that smell I just pooed? That's a rap brought to you by my friend Mark Valentine in the 3rd grade.
Oh, no.
It was the best thing. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard to that point.
The thing that kind of struck me right away in the music video is that we both kind of pointed this out at the same time. Everyone seems like they know what they're doing. Like, are they actual EMTs?
It's hard to tell which actors at first are the band members. I mean, obviously they're in the ambulance, but it's so down the middle. They're just responding with shots into people's arms. They're shocking people. You mentioned that the sound effects are the only things that aren't realistic about the interaction. Like there's a small explosion you heard.
Yeah, there's at one point he's like, "We're gonna shock them," which they do to kind of everyone. But when they shock them, there's like, it sounds like an atom bomb from 5 miles away. It's just like, it's like, what kind of paddles are those?
I was wondering if they had to go to like so the movie Cats that came out in 2020 or 2019.
Show the butthole cut, right? Remember that?
They all went to cat like school.
Yeah.
For that. Yeah. And I wonder if there was like a little bit of EMT training. Like, did the label spring for them to like, because they cut the shirt. They're doing like the shock pads. I don't know what they're called right now. Defibrillator maybe, something like that.
Yeah, there you go.
But they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like by the time they get to, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but by the time they get to the part in the middle during the bridge where it's slowing down before the explosion at the end of the song, they're drinking coffee out of paper cups, like really stressed from their workday. And it's like Tom's like, "Is there liquid in those cups?" It's like, I can't tell. These dudes are doing a great job. It's almost like they do this like EMT job work so well, and they look so stressed and sad. But like, there's no comedy. There's no fart punk comedy.
Yeah.
There's no other than the lyrics being a statement on, I guess, technology or health. I'm not sure. I just learned them today, so I'm still kind of grappling with all that. I was just enjoying the music and the woes, which we'll get to the woes later as well. But yeah, they do a good job, but it's so down the middle. It's kind of like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, because we're coming off of, I guess, a lifetime of fart punk appreciation where you're like, okay, there's going to be a girl with like, or a boy or anything else other than just accidents happening.
Right.
It never happens. They are just working hard and take a coffee break, but there's a third accident.
Right. So yeah, it seems like they're
a lot of loved ones in the ambulance. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. And it also made me think, like, you can't do that during the time of COVID. Like there was someone recently that had to be taken away in an ambulance, something like a family member or something. And I think it was my stepmom had to drive separately because they wouldn't let more people in the ambulance. So it's like, man, you know, it's a nice moment. The loved ones are kind of with their, I don't know, the patients, the victims, whatever. And it's just like, they're there for them. It's nice.
We got a pulse.
Right. Yeah. Lots of weird, one-liners, not jokes, but.
Have you ever ridden in an ambulance?
No.
Have you ever seen anybody get taken away in an ambulance?
Probably. I got hit by a car when I was 21. I went over the hood of a car and like busted my whole head open. Someone called 911. It was actually a pretty pretty bad wreck. And they were like, dude, get in the ambulance. Like, you don't want to mess around with head injuries. I was like, dude, I know how much that costs. I'm not getting your fucking ambulance. And I just told him to go home, and everyone left. And then I just I walked home and asked my roommate for a ride to the emergency room.
There's legitimate studies going on right now about like the future of technology as it integrates into society, and how Ubers are, people worry about drivers being creeps, but studies show that having transportation available in areas where there are bars and not too many like public transportation options and things are actually helping and making sexual assaults go down and things like that, helping the numbers. But like the next level of that, integrating Uber and stuff like that, and kind of ride sharing technology and embracing smartphones and stuff would involve, because people are calling Ubers instead of ambulances a lot anyway. It's like a weird trend of the 2010s that we'll look back on and being like, woof, that was rough. That had to be the thing. But the people are studying whether or not that would end up being kind of more integrated and accepted. Anyway, that's way beside the point. But you turning an ambulance down, I never knew that.
Yeah, it was just.
How's your head now?
There's a little scar.
Other than being such a bonehead.
It's so wet.
I fell in it and it hurts.
Okay. Anyways. Yeah, never been in an ambulance. I think I sat in a fire truck once. I'm more into fire trucks and ambulances.
You're into fire halls based on our last week's episode. Tom views the world. Tom is a firefighter. It's like the weirdest mental illness. He's like, and then I was born in a fire hall, and my parents drove me home to their fire hall. And I've been a fireman this whole time. It's like the most fascinating case study of mental illness in the history of like weird, very functioning. Hey, as long as you accept that he's a fireman, things are okay. Sorry. I didn't mean to bring that back up from last week, but that shit had me rolling. Which, in your defense, we played almost like 100% of our shows in fire halls. So like, the few that weren't were, few and far between. Anyway, sorry to flame you like that again for the second week about the same topic.
So yeah, they have their break. They're drinking coffee. Looks like they're all suffering from a little bit of compassion fatigue, as they call it. And then we see
my sister, who's a nurse, is
there you go.
It's heavy. It's a heavy job.
I mean, and they're acting it. They're acting the hell out of it too.
Yeah. Have you ever worked a job where you had to drink coffee out of those types of styrofoam cups?
Actually, I worked at this one coffee shop.
No one's enjoying it, but you need it.
I worked at this one coffee shop that did specialty coffee, and the owner was like a total hack. And we actually had styrofoam cups, and she was like so pissed that she wanted to be at this like Earth Day festival, and they said, yeah, but you can't bring your styrofoam cups. And she was like, well, you then. And I just thought it was funny. I don't know. Not allowed at the Earth Day festival because she used styrofoam cups.
We're like, one of my jobs when I was working in Cleveland, it was really comically large styrofoam cups, but it was like not a job that like, it wasn't like you watch Better Call Saul and they have those 25-cent, like it drops the cup and then puts the mud coffee in, and you just kind of like accept your lot, like your
swill,
your lunch pail-y mud coffee life, mud coffee wife, mud coffee life type thing. I don't know what that means. Sorry. That was so far from happy wife, happy life that it doesn't matter what we say for the rest of the episode. I'll be known as someone who ruined the show forever for everyone. Do you feel we need to be hooked up to these machines? I'll save it with this. Tom, do you feel we need to be hooked up to these machines?
Yes. No, I don't know.
There you go. That answers that. If you woke up in an ambulance and one of the workers had the sideburns of the guitarist in this video, would you feel comforted in that home? Would you ask him about his gauges?
Well, I wouldn't call them gauges, Pax. I'm not a fucking poser.
Trick question. Just kidding. I am a poser, and that's what I thought we called them for like the last 15 years.
I wouldn't let the side. I think I'd feel comforted by the burns. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He wanted. Not that I have sideburns. I do have stretched ears. I would feel comforted by someone who looked like me, because I would trust myself to do that job.
What do you call those earrings then?
Well, the ones I'm wearing now would be plugs because they're solid. If there's a hole through them, they'd be tunnels. Yeah.
Where did gauge come from?
That's like the size, like the gauge. Like my gauge is 1 inch, so it's like, oh, nice gauges. It'd be like nice, nice size.
It's a living. Okay, we're getting too silly already, folks.
So we see a bike. There's a bike on the ground.
Let's get back to the music video.
And you're like, oh man, a biker went down, and then it pans up, and there's just a hole through his chest.
Yeah.
And it was like, wait, did he is he a car accident victim or is he a gunshot victim?
Yeah, it was just a 44 caliber love letter that knocked him off his bike. You start to ask
Straight
questions.
through the heart.
Yes. Do it, girl. Do it, put riding on you, girl. Anyway, I love this song so much. Real quick, before we finish this is a very important ranking I want to go over with you. Use of woe ranking, top 5. Tell me what you think. I'm going to run through these, and after each entry, you tell me if you think of anything that should be better, or I'll just let you kind of let your wheels spin while I go through. At number 5, admit it by say anything. Whoa!
I wish people could have seen your face right now.
Just trying to get it accurate. I'm glad this is not a visual medium. I'm not going to try to sing Haley's Whoa from Whoa by Paramore, but beautiful. Love it. Coming in at number 4,
Okay.
possibly number 1, because I love that song.
Yeah.
The back half or the final third of In Keeping Secrets of Silent Earth 3 by Coheed and Cambria, the title track. Oh, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Anyway, love them. That's number 3 for me. You can disagree with that if you want. Sounds like you might want to.
Okay.
But no further questions, Your
I'll let
Honor.
you keep going.
Okay. Number 2, Whoa, Whoa by Forever the Sickest Kids.
Oh, why do I put what is it? Me versus everyone.
Yeah.
That's probably the one I would think about. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, number 1, Accidents. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Mostly because of this song, when I think what a whoa is supposed to do for me, gets me going.
So I mean, it's good. I think of a whoa as like an intentional sing-along part. I think the melody on this is too complicated for an audience to properly
So you think
sing
there's
it.
a sing-along element to what woes have to be?
I do. And, I think of That's What You Get by Paramore. Whoa. Because it's like easy enough for people to like, you can kind of drop out the music and like hold the mic over the crowd and let them sing it. This is like pretty, not like technical, but a crowd's not going to get this right.
I don't think that. I think it adds a lot to the song. I guess it depends what role it's playing. I could see your argument for it being, are you using it as a sing-along part, or is it just a tool that is adding to the song itself without the audience's involvement? Anyway, that's quick thought experiment. Tweet at _reminiscent FM if you agree or disagree. And we can just move along from that. But I wanted to get us back on track before we talk about the 44 caliber love letter that knocked this young gentleman off his bike, because there's a hole in his chest and a broken bike off to the side. We see 3 accidents at the beginning of the music video, and they respond to 2. And then they have their coffee break, and then they're like, oh, we forgot that 3rd one. And then they go, and they try to like tape his arm and like shock him too. But
And they're just shocking everyone.
yeah.
That's all they do.
Just from a story standpoint, like, for as down the middle and medically accurate, like they wouldn't have had their they would have heard the call and gone and been like, you want to get coffee before we respond to that 3rd call?
No,
or?
I think they were taking a break and they're like exhausted from like so much death, and then the 3rd call comes in.
Like, why do the people need to be hooked up to these machines? If we can only heal ourselves.
There has been a lot of murder. So I think they're just like, they're exhausted, and the point that they're trying to make is like no rest for the wicked. Like you just have to keep going even when you're so exhausted. Like you're drinking that coffee, you're trying to get through it. It's the middle of the night. People won't stop falling off their bikes. They got to keep doing the job.
I forgot that there was Twitter user Tornado Shanks, honorable mention for the woes list. You're Not Alone by Homegrown. So thank you for that,
yeah.
Tornado Shanks. Also a nice Twitter name.
Yeah.
I always read it as Tornado Sharks, but that's not what it is. Apologies to Tornado Shanks. But yeah, so I think this is pretty, I don't know if this was necessarily a marathon episode, mostly because of how down the middle of the plate this music video is. They just do their jobs well, and they only lose one, because you see the first 2 people, Heart Attack Man and In Line for a Showgirl, wake up with their significant others in the ambulance. They get them up, they get them breathing, we got a pulse before they even reach the hospital, and 2 out of 3, which they say 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but not in this case.
I mean, I don't think you're going to shock a gunshot victim back to life. I mean, there was a lot of
that was the first plot hole for me. Was they ignore the call, have coffee first, go, and then try to shock the person in the wound area. I don't know a ton, but that was the first where it's like, okay, this was all pretty down the middle realistic, but the more you watch it, the more you start to ask questions about what that third guy's role or what we are supposed to take away from that. But also, it took me 15 years to even take time to look at the lyrics anyway, so maybe we aren't. You tell us, what does this song mean? What does it all mean, man?
But I mean, I hold, again, I don't know this band. This isn't like an album kind of band for me, because at the time I just had LimeWire. I had some singles. I had maybe 12 of their songs. This album did go platinum in Canada, 100,000 copies sold, which is like good. I thought they were like this small niche little thing that like only our
despite
junior high
the
knew
beef with
about.
Halifax.
They had beef?
No. Just naming another Canadian band. That's my bad. The cover of Paula Abdul was supposed to chart number 1 that week, but actually did too well. Just kidding. Halifax taking strays for no reason.
So, I mean, great band. Like they were my gateway to so much music that I loved around this time. It really was like an acquired taste, and I'm so glad that like, I mean, not, usually I have people like, no, just give it one more chance. And this was kind of like a different version of that, where I was like just forced into listening to this band over and over, and I ended up loving it. I'm really glad that, again, the universe has had patience with me, not having patience with some bands that I end up loving. So I'm really grateful to Alex and Jay, our friends that would just play this all the time.
Thanks, Alex and Jay.
Thanks, guys.
We get to do songs of the week for the first time in a while. I
forgot
last
about
week.
it before. Yeah,
but we have that full playlist.
We've got so many.
Let me say this: I'm ready.
Yeah?
You're not prepared for
Go
this
for it.
because I'm prepared for this. You're not prepared for this because I'm prepared for this, but you are also prepared for this. Give me Find Your Throne by Origami Angel and Jeremy and Gabby on Twitter. Seemed pretty pumped about the meme we put out around election time. We're catching up on so much news because we had backlogged so many. But yeah, apparently we're now members of the Gami gang, which I think is a delightful name for.
Is that the name of the thing?
I don't know if that's real, but that's what Jeremy tweeted. So I'm like, yeah, I love the Gami gang. That's my first tattoo. Nothing has seemed worth tattooing to my body. Gami gang, 100%. Find Your Throne. Hey, it's a really damn good idea.
I'll have to.
Super catchy. It is annoyingly catchy. You're like, this shouldn't be legal.
I'll have to give it another chance. I'm going to just go ahead and say it again. Doom Boy by the Dirty Nil.
Yeah.
It's all I can think about for the past like month.
My wife was like, is this still that song? I was like, it is.
Yeah, to the point where like I've been singing it around the house, and my wife is starting to sing it too, but she's never actually heard the song.
Yeah,
She just heard me singing it.
Again,
so good.
This and not that it's an instant classic necessarily, like a Teenage Dirtbag, but talking about metal bands and hanging out with a girl for guys who don't listen to metal bands but want to think that's what their life would be or whatever.
Right.
It's an easy little subgenre of songs that fun hits.
And the music video is very fun.
Super fun.
It's like the perfect
Dirty Nil.
more Canadian beauties that we've
Really?
Yeah.
I thought they were from Arizona. Never mind.
No, man. I'm glad to have them in my super regular rotation now. Almost nothing but that.
I'm done with drugs. I hope they're done with me.
So good. What
So
a band.
good.
Okay. Well, let's get ahead to the Patreon post show.
Let's do it. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here.
yeah, thank you all.
@_reminiscent FM on Twitter. That's where you
Yep.
can find us.
All right. Here's to another 200
Here's to
episodes.
the nights we felt. I'm singing a lot this week, and I don't feel good about it. Bye. I love you. Bye.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for hanging out this week. If you'd like to check out the show notes for this episode, you can head over to our website, reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/201. And as always, please hit us up on Twitter @_reminiscentfm. Let us know, are these vocals commercially viable? Are they harsh? Are they mellow? We've got to solve this dispute. Thank you all so much for being here. We love you. We'll talk to you next week with our Christmas episode. Bye, everyone.